12 are dead following an attack by gunmen on the offices of a satirical magazine in Paris. How governments and competitors are cooperating to produce an Ebola vaccine. And look who's the new face and body of Calvin Klein. Africa 54 starts right now.
Hello and welcome. I'm Vincent McCory. This is Africa 54. A massive manhunt is underway in the French capital after 12 people, including 2 police officers, were killed in a shooting attack at the Paris offices of the satirical weekly Charlie Hebdo by several gunmen. French authorities have raised its security alert to its highest level. Manu Rabi of Reuters has this report.
A frantic scene outside the Paris offices of a French satirical newspaper. Police say black-hooded gunmen shot 12 people dead at the offices of Charlie Hebdo, 10 of them journalists and 2 others police officers. Another 10 people were also injured in the attack, which one police official described as carnage. A witness described 2 gunmen as entering the offices with rifles and opening fire. He says the men were seen fleeing the building. French President François Hollande headed to the scene of the attack, and British Prime Minister David Cameron condemned the assault.
While details are still unclear, I know that this House and this country stands united with the French people in our opposition to all forms of terrorism, and we stand squarely for free speech and democracy. And these people will never be able to take us off those values.
Charlie Hebdo has always courted controversy. Its latest tweet on its Twitter account mocks the leader of the Islamic State. It's not the first time the publication comes under attack. It was firebombed in 2011, police say, after publishing cartoons lampooning Muslim leaders and the Prophet Muhammad. The French government says it's raised the security level to the highest notch, although the country has already been on high alert. Last year, Islamist militants called for attacks on French citizens and interests as reprisal for French military strikes on Islamist strongholds in the Middle East and Africa.
French President François Hollande spoke to reporters at the scene. He called the attack an act of exceptional barbarity.
We are living through a very difficult moment. There have been several terrorist attacks these past few weeks. We knew we were under threat just like the other countries in the world. We are being threatened because we are a country of freedom, and because we are a country of freedom, we beat the threats and we will punish the aggressors. No one should think they can act this way in France against the principles of the Republic and to hit the very spirit of the Republic, which is a newspaper. My thoughts today are with those victims. 11 people are dead. 4 are between life and death as we speak. And we will find those responsible while asking for national unity.
U.S. President Barack Obama was briefed on the attack, and he has issued the following statement. Quote, I strongly condemn the horrific shooting at the offices of Charlie Hebdo magazine in Paris that has reportedly killed 12 people. Our thoughts and prayers are with the victims of the terrorist attack and the people of France at this difficult time. France is America's oldest ally and has stood shoulder to shoulder with the United States in the fight against terrorists who threaten our shared security and the world. President Obama has also directed his administration to provide any assistance needed to help bring the terrorists to justice. Well, in Libya, there are fears the country could turn into an exporter of terrorists as reports emerge of growing links between Islamist militants there and the group Islamic State. The official government has now asked for military help to tackle rival militias. Henry Ridgewell reports from London.
A US-made Reaper drone at the newly built French military base in Madama, Niger. Paris has ordered 3 more drones to counter the growing terror threat from Libya, which lies 100 kilometres to the north. It has become the major source of destabilisation in the region, says Jason Pack, president of the group LibyaAnalysis.com.
Libya is a huge exporter of terror, arms, illegal migrants to Europe. It is a force for destabilisation in the Sahel region in North Africa, in the southern Mediterranean and the Middle East.
Libya's internationally recognised government is based in the eastern city of Tobruk after it was forced out of the capital in August. A rival administration supported by Islamist fighters now controls Tripoli and the port city of Misrata. At an emergency meeting of the Arab League Monday, the Tobruk government appealed for military help.
Today, I officially request the Arab League to intervene to protect vital institutions in war Libya and to prevent those terrorist groups from using violence in Libya.
Egypt and the United Arab Emirates are already supporting the Tobruk government militarily and have carried out airstrikes on Islamist militant positions. Again, Jason Pack.
This is an unwinnable conflict between the Tobruk government and the Tripoli government. Fueling in more arms on one side or another is going to drive the country more towards chaos.
The rival governments and their allied militias are battling for the biggest oil reserves in Africa, and that could split Libya, says analyst John Hamilton.
I think that the threat of an actual partition of Libya is greater than it's ever been. The split of Libya will not necessarily come from a battle on some dividing line in the middle of the desert. It's going to come through a conflict over control of these incredibly valuable resources.
The United Nations has been trying to broker talks, but they were postponed again this week. There are no bargaining chips to bring the rivals to the negotiating table, says Jason Pack.
It's difficult to mediate a solution when both sides think that they can win the conflict militarily, and that's why we've seen an escalation.
Security services are concerned about the growing influence of the terror group Islamic State in Libya. ISIS, as it is also known, has sent a senior commander to Libya to forge alliances with Islamist militias. 3.5 years after the ouster of Muammar Gaddafi, analysts say the loose coalition of rebels that spearheaded the revolution has now completely splintered, and the rival militias are threatening the very future of Libya. Henry Ridgewell for VOA News, London.
With less than 6 weeks to go before the presidential election and an increasingly violent Islamist insurgence in the northeast, Nigerians are concerned that there might be a breakdown in law and order during the process. President Goodluck Jonathan has sought to reassure the nation that all will be well and the poll will be free and fair. Here's Lanre Lasisi from our partner channels TV.
Party officials and chieftains of the People's Democratic Party all gathered for the inauguration of the Presidential Campaign Organization for the 2015 elections. It was an event filled with speeches and words of encouragement to members of the campaign organization. These members say the coming election is a familiar terrain, one they have won 3 times already.
The opposition has nothing to offer. What they are interested in is to bring propaganda to bear. This is the point about this presidential campaign. It is about darkness and light. We are talking about tangible achievements, and we are all keeping quiet. Why are we keeping quiet? We are building dams all over Nigeria. We have improved the power sector. Even railways that were not working in the last 15 years are working today. Why are we keeping quiet? There is no point in following the diversion and the distraction that the opposition is getting into. If they unwittingly drag us into distractions, then we'll be playing their own game. We're bigger than that. We should let Nigerians know. Most importantly, Mr. President, this nation will give you Valentine love on the 14th of February this year, because that's Valentine's Day. It is then that Nigerians will show that they love you because you love them.
The national chairman of the party appealed to President Jonathan on the state of the party.
The members of the PDP are saying we should not be used and dumped, because this is part of the problem we are facing today. Members of our party that have left our party have left because of lack of equity, fairness and justice. Baboon go walk, monkey go chop, but baboon go walk and baboon will chop. We don't mind if the monkey chops as well. So all of us can chop, but nobody should be left behind.
The president touched briefly on this issue, then focused on the coming elections.
There may be issues arising from the party primaries, of course the national chairman made reference to that, which have led to some of our members expressing grievances.
But this is the time for all of us to come together and work as one family. At the end of the day, everybody will be used in one way or the other. The eyes of the international community are focused on the transition that lies ahead of us, the fifth post-military rule general election that will be conducted under a civilian dispensation in this country. The world is asking, will Nigeria get it right? My categorical response to that is yes, we must. And surely we will.
The President also commissioned campaign vehicles for the election.
Now, with just a little over 30 days to the elections, the party will now be going around the country to meet with Nigerians, to converse for votes, and ensure that victory is theirs when the results are announced next month. Lanre Lasisi, Channels Television News.
Well, it has been a year since the Central African Republic erupted into chaos, while media reporting has fizzled out or been eclipsed by other events. Conflicts simmer and people continue to die. An estimated 2.3 million children are affected by the crisis that has seen more than 5,000 deaths and left more than half of the population in need of emergency assistance. Well, for some insights on the situation in the CAR, I am joined by Eugene Pehua Pelema of the Central African Republic Community Council in the United States. Mr. Pehua Pelema, welcome back.
Good morning, Vincent. Thanks for having me.
Yes. Now, first, we did mention that 2.3 million kids have been severely affected. Give us a sense of what these kids are going through today in the Central African Republic and where they are.
I mean, most of those people, some of them are displaced in the big city like Bangui and other city, but you have a lot of people in the bush. You have a lot of kids that they don't go to school. They don't have food. So, and then when they're sick, they cannot be taken care of. So it's a chaotic situation continuing since last time we met. Mm-hmm. And we are looking to find solutions.
And you know, it's been a bit quiet, and for some, since the current interim president, Catherine Samba-Panza, took over in January last year, many people thought, you know, maybe things are getting better. What is the reality on the ground?
The reality that is that we still have a chaos. I mean, we have a lack of leadership in every sense of the word. The political leaders are completely absent. They're looking for election when we know that the election is not the solution. And the resolution voted by the Security Council, the 2149, is not implemented by the United Nations. So they were supposed to be there to protect and assist the people, to assist the government when we know that the administration is not deployed in the 16 administrative region. That we don't have army. So, I mean, we're still in the same situation where you have 60% of the country occupied by the Seleka, a group composed by foreigner fighters, and 25% by the Anti-Balaka, a group that got birth because of the Seleka.
Yeah. Now, we know that this divide was along religious lines, at least in the very kind of obvious way. Has there been any progress in bringing communities together, especially the religious communities, to a point where they can start having a coexistence and hopefully people come back to their homes?
I mean, there is a great work done by the Archbishop Nzapalenga, Imam Kobina and Reverend Greg Koyame. They have been doing a really great work to get the people together, but as we told last time, it was not a religious conflict. It was a politician that used the religion and to get us to that level.
Mm-hmm. Now, very quickly, if you were to give a suggestion on the best way to achieve peace in the Central African Republic, what will that be?
I believe that at this time, it would be good to organize a dialogue with all the different people from the different regions, let's say in March or April, to bring all the people together and to try to design, to draw a new line for the transition, make some change in the transition, the CNT, and to be able to move forward, because we need to get back our security forces and all this stuff. And before we can use, to have a new election, as I told you last time, I don't think it it will take like 3 to 5 years before that country come back together.
Now, from what you know, from what you're hearing on the ground, is the international community as engaged as it was sometime in 2013 and as involved, or have things changed?
I mean, the international community was supposed to be more involved, especially with the deployment of the United Nations force, the Sangaris, the French troops, and the EUFOR. But, you know, the action on ground is not really clear. One day they arrest people, the next day the same people that they arrested are free. The people get killed, they look. I mean, it's a very, very confusing situation over there, but I think it has to do with the fact that we have a lack of our leadership, political leader.
Okay. Well, Eugene, thank you very much for sharing those insights with us. Well, Eugene Pehoa-Pelema of the Central African Republic Community Council here in the United States. We want to know now what you think about Africa 54 and the stories we covered during the conversation on Facebook. The address is Africa 54, and check out our headlines 24/7 on voaafrica.com. Coming up, the quest to find an Ebola vaccine. Stay with us.
I wanted to present music and a side of American culture that is most important to me, that is a part of who I am. They're going to get some incredible performances. That's one of the things I love, bringing these artists in so you can get to see them do what they do. It's soul music, and that's what music is. It's that which comes from the soul.
Welcome back. The worst Ebola outbreak in history is in its second year, and scientists around the world are working to develop a vaccine against the virus. Since December of 2013, when the Ebola outbreak began in West Africa, the World Health Organization reports more than 20,000 people have been infected with the virus, and of those, more than 8,000 people have died. VOA's Carol Pearson reports on 2 vaccines that are being developed.
These researchers are working on a vaccine that could be among the first to be used in West Africa's Ebola epidemic. This laboratory near Rome is owned by pharmaceutical giant GlaxoSmithKline, or GSK. Several teams are working on Ebola vaccines. All say they have sped up the production process because of the urgent need and the number of lives at risk. In November, GSK said the first trial of this vaccine was well tolerated and produced an immune response in all of the 20 healthy adult volunteers who received it. The GSK vaccine promotes the production of antibodies and also triggers an immune response of certain cells that destroy the infected cells. Dr. Ricardo Cortese heads this laboratory.
The Ebola virus can't be kept under control by a vaccine that stimulates antibodies only. There is solid evidence that traditional vaccines are not enough. Our vaccine, instead, also stimulates another important branch of the immune system, the one that stimulates killer T cells that are able to recognize infected cells. The combination between 2 strategies is effective against Ebola.
GSK says more trials are still needed before the vaccine will be ready for widespread use. Merck, another pharmaceutical giant, announced it's resuming trials of a vaccine known by the code name VSV-Zevov. A trial of this vaccine was suspended last month after some of the volunteers reported having mild joint pain. Trials are continuing with a lower dose of the potential vaccine. The situation in West Africa has created unusual partnerships.
There's 3 issues I'd like to quickly touch on.
At a recent forum in Washington, Dr. Julie Gerberding, the president of Merck, said even rival pharmaceutical companies are working together.
There's some very special partnerships that are going on here, and one of them is the partnership between people who are traditionally competitors.
Several potential vaccines are being developed and are now in clinical trials. This increases the possibility of developing at least one that is effective against Ebola. And if more than one is effective, so much the better. it would increase the chances that large numbers of people could be immunized and bring the outbreak to an end. It could also mean that there would never again be another Ebola epidemic as bad as this one. Carol Pearson, VOA News.
Well, it's time now for a short break. Still to come on Africa 54, a British celebrity chef reimagines a beloved West African dish and social media strikes back. We'll be right back.
If you've just joined us, I'm Mariama Diallo, and here is a quick recap of today's headlines. In France, at least 12 people are dead in Paris in an attack on the offices of the satirical weekly paper Charlie Hebdo. In Nigeria, Boko Haram leader Abubakar Shekau threatens Cameroon in a message on the video sharing site YouTube. In Yemen, security officials say a car bomb has exploded outside the police academy in the capital Sana'a, killing at least 30 people and wounding 40 others. Finally, the Ugandan military confirms that a senior commander in the rebels' Lord's Resistance Army movement has been taken into custody by U.S. forces. That's it for today. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Welcome back to Africa 54. Here's what's trending. Justin Bieber is the new face and body of Calvin Klein jeans and Calvin Klein underwear. The Canadian-born singer is featured alongside Dutch supermodel Lara Stone in the brand's Spring 2015 campaign. In the black and white ads, Bieber's chest and arm tattoos are on full display as he poses in his underwear and plays the guitar and drums, wearing only jeans and boots. The campaign was shot by fashion photographers Matt Allers and Marcus Pigott in New York City. Now, the moral of our last story today is don't mess with jollof. Celebrity chef Jamie Oliver published a recipe, or what he called an interpretation of the traditional West African dish last year, and now it's causing quite a stir. Africans began to post comments on the chef's blog, and Twitter users even labeled the scandal #JollofGate. The recipe attracted over 4,000 comments. Well, across social media, with many criticizing Jamie's recipe for including whole vegetables and ingredients like coriander, lemon wedge, and parsley. The traditional recipe is made with a mix of blended tomatoes and onions and spices. And that is what is trending today. Now, in Uganda, a young entrepreneur makes money by keeping everybody clean. Africa 54's Paul Ndiho met up with him, and he's here to tell us all about him. Paul?
Thanks, Vincent. Last summer, U.S. President Barack Obama's initiative, the Mandela Washington Fellowship, brought 500 of Africa's brightest minds to America to study, learn new skills, network, and return home with new experiences. Since returning to Uganda, one of the fellows has his cleaning products manufacturing company to a new heights. I met up with him recently in Kampala.
We are just going to shape it into...
It's been said that necessity is the mother of invention. It's likely that Martin Mugabe thought about that when he started his Kampala-based business, Twinkle Industries, a cleaning products manufacturing company. When Mugabe found that many chemical soaps irritated his sensitive skin, he began making his own soap and laundry detergent, free from local materials and palm oil products. His product line consists of home care products, multi-purpose liquid soap that can be used for general-purpose cleaning at home.
It's a super laundry detergent that has been manufactured to save people money and time. When you use it for clothes, you don't need bar soap like many people do here. You don't even need powder soap. You just put the liquid formula we have developed in your water. You mix it up properly. Put your clothes, you don't need to soak. You wash your clothes and it comes out clean.
Regarding his own technical knowledge of the soap making process, Mugabe admits he doesn't have any background in organic chemistry. which making soap requires, but he certainly does now.
It can be used to clean like your dishes at home, garments, it can clean the floors, it can wash your car, clean windows, general purpose cleaning in the household.
His products can be found in shops across Kampala and its surrounding areas.
So we have tried as much as possible to produce products that will not only give them value in terms of making them feel nice, cleaning them or making their skins look nice, but protecting them from disease-causing germs. And I think that's where we give value to our customers.
Namanya Ismail runs one of the stores that sells Mugabe's products. You get any complaints from customers?
Apparently no, and the customers who have already bought, they don't say anything about the product.
For a rising firm like Twinkle Industries, developing soaps and detergents can be a perfect business opportunity if you have the right formula and equipment to manufacture the products. Midred Awili is the company chemist.
Before we took it to the market, we had to make sure the product was tested and it passed all the necessary tests.
Twinkle Industry has been praised by the local community leaders. Faizo Kibirige is the chairman of the village.
For us as a community, if a youth like this gentleman starts creating a job, in fact he created a job, now he gave other jobs. Now we have about 4 workers, and the other things, people who have small shops, they come and buy the commodity from here and take the shop, and it is not expensive according if you compare with other prices.
Jingo Ismail is a youth leader and a teacher at Sauda Junior Academy. He says that his school uses Twinkle products for general cleaning.
For example, like this is youth, innovative youth you have just seen with his products. You see, he has tried to bring services nearer to people around the community, and people have proved that it's their quality.
Martin Mugabe also has other business pursuits. He is a farmer, and that business provides seasonal employment to women and prisoners on work detail in the northeastern part of Uganda. In my next report, I will take you to Malawi, where a university student has created a community television station, one that he hopes will transmit all social events taking place on campus. Back to you, Vincent.
Well, thanks a lot, Paul, for that fabulous report. And that's our show for today. Be sure to watch Africa 54 on our website at voaafrica.com. For more news, tune in to VOA's evening radio show, Africa News Tonight at 1800 UTC, and in the morning, still Daybreak Africa between 0300 and 0600 UTC, Monday through Friday. Thanks a lot for watching. From all of us here in Washington, have a good night.
Welcome to the Voice of America's News Words, where we teach you about words in the news.
This word is one you hear in many stories about politicians. It has to do with trust.
The president's credibility has suffered serious damage, says analyst Stu Rothenberg. He says that will have an impact on Democratic candidates in next year's midterm elections.
Credibility. It means you can believe and trust what a person says. It is a good quality to have. So when politicians lose credibility, their popularity goes down too.
Now, when you hear the word credibility, you will know what this news word means.